Welcome everyone. And this is, again, as Jeff said, this is the first time we've done anything like this, or I'll speak for myself. I've ever done anything like this. And I've been involved. My name is Robert Tennyson Stevens. I've been involved in reading eyes my adult life. Started early studying iridology. Found it was an amazing science. I knew more than my instructor knew in the first 15, 20, 30 minutes, and I didn't quite understand how I knew that. I believe I either remembered it or I studied it before, whatever, however it all works. It just was one of those things that I was here for. And I was trained early on in the Jensen system and other systems about how to read what was wrong. And in my practice, people would come in and work with me, and they would walk in pretty healthy and happy and walk out like holding their back or whatever. And I realized I did that. I mean, I was basically telling people what was wrong because that's what I was trained in. So I stopped doing that, and I realized back then that I wasn't going to tell people what was wrong because that they didn't need to know that. I would ask people questions, and I found a whole world about what our eyes mean. And then one day, I was out in Wilbur Hot Springs in California teaching. I used to call it iridology and thought because it was way beyond basic iridology. And just I spoke words that I was remembering at that time of what the eye actually represents, and that the iris of the eye represents the subconscious. The white of the eye, that's the colored part of is the iris. The sclera represents that which is our outer world, and the pupil, and actually the pupil tone and movement, etc. And I'll show you all this. Represents like our spirit, and our eyes actually see in both directions. We project out, and we also take light in. So over these years, and the reason I call it Bio-Optic holography is literally our eyes represent a biological representation of our conscious and especially our feeling or other than conscious self. And so what I'm going to show tonight is I'll give you some history of where iridology comes from through some of the plates of Dr. Bernard Jensen, one just amazing champion in my world. The guy's an an amazing man, truly, truly, truly. And anyone that's going to study with me, I recommend you get his second book, the big book, because it's a work of art, really. And I'm going to show you a little bit from that, in encouraging you to study that material. But I'll say that, but consciously, what tonight is about is to understand what our eyes actually represent, which are thought, word, and emotional patterns. And what our eyes actually show is, if we understand it, which I can show you how to do this. And I'm really here in a particular way to say, hey, I've been doing this now for 40 some years. I've quote unquote perfected the coaching system to the degree I have. We now have a full team of coaches on board, and it's time for everyone who chooses to have this skill bring our world upscale very, very quickly. And I've invited four folks tonight to share their experience, not just for me showing you here's before, here's after, even though I want to do some of that. Mine is to actually have you feel and experience and hear people, though some that are newer and some that have been in for a little while and some that have been in a much longer period of time, what this transformation actually means as people move up scale. So we're in for a ride tonight. A couple things to share before we begin. It's very special, this thing called our eyes, and it's actually profoundly sacred. So I'm inviting you as our team, as our focus, to be fully present. And as these folks share their personal story, I'm really asking you to be a committed listening for them. That'd be a very secure space for each person to share, like be a sacred space really for them. And understand that our eyes are truly, it's been said, but I mean, I'm going to show you this. They're the windows of our soul. And frequently, what I find people really don't understand is the iris of the eye actually shows what we have yet to be aware of. And yet, when we make eye contact with each other, we actually like reveal ourselves to each other. And so when I learned this, I realized scripture, not religion, but scripture says, if you see a twig in your brother's eye, take the log or beam out of your own. And as a quote unquote early iridologist, what an instruction, what a law. So what I realized my job was to do was to see perfection. And for me, and again, those that jump in and choose to do this, if you choose to see some actual magic, I mean by that magi means of God, if you choose to see miracles and miracles and miracles and miracles and miracles unfold, understand how to gaze into someone's eyes, which are actually making contact with their subconscious or their other than conscious self, and love them right where they are and watch their eye color change, their fiber change. And as you begin to interact with them, their consciousness begins to move upscale. And with a little bit of help, individuals actually remember. That's what Bio-Optic holography ultimately is. Individuals remember their mission in life. And in essence, we can help people remember their marching papers, so to speak, their perfection, their purpose in life. And we are not our body. Our body is the temple of the most high living God, it's been said, and I agree with it. And the eye, when we get this, it comes right out of the brain. And I have a ton of videos on masterysystems.com, on our YouTube channel. I'm on eyes and examples and instruction. We have a ton of a lot of instruction that you can get trained right now on this. And so tonight, please understand, I'm focusing in on, with a little bit of background, on the idea of the eyes show where we are. They don't show how conscious we are. Our eyes show in the minute we move upscale, our eye will get lighter, our fibers will get straighter. If we move downscale, our eyes will get darker, and frequently our fibers will get more dispersed or wavy. And again, you cannot compare a brown eye to a blue eye, and or a lighter eye to a darker eye. You can't. You can only compare your own eye to your own eye. That's the only way it works. A blue eye doesn't mean anything over a brown eye. This is not it. And ultimately, in this system, most brown eyes, and so far, will literally get to the point where they'll turn hazel green and then they can turn blue. I'm just reporting the news. I'm not saying that's what I want to have happen or what should happen. It just happens. So as we progress, I'm asking you to really just call for truth, only truth to come forward. Really just demand truth. That way, if you make me be truthful, that's just the way it happens. And it'll also, when I demand truth and only truth come forward, I recognize and become truthful myself. And that's all I'm here for. I'm really here just to expand and share what I have found so far to be true. So I'll take you through a little bit of this. And again, especially when our team comes on to share their experience, my request is you vote their victory, you see perfection, you take great care of them, because this is a very courageous thing that individuals are doing to share their soul, their spirit, their awakening self. It's not like they've got all this figured out. It's that they're in the middle of a metamorphosis. And the beauty of our eyes is we can actually find how we're doing, what's happened, and that's an aspect of this tonight is I have, for everybody that's on here, I have a before photo and an after photo or more. And you can see the progression of the transformation and the return and the embodiment and the engagement of that individual's divine blueprint. And their DNA is definitely changing. That's all there is to it. I mean, Dr. Bruce Lipton, I've been with him on tour, and I love what he says is, our DNA does not control us. Our belief does. And what we're doing, what I'm showing people how to do, is how to shift their thoughts, their words, their feelings, their actions with love, not being more right, just with love, finding what is, loving it, and watching the miracle of that person's divine blueprint out pictured in the iris, sclera, white of the eye, and pupil of the eye. They're literally, their eye becomes amazing. When the eye be single, the body is full of light. I'm beginning to see that that's exactly what's here. So, all right, let's begin. I'm going to start with a little bit of history. And Jeff, please let me know if you can. Oh, wrong one. I'm going to. All right, I require some help, Jeff, if you can help me.
All right, what do we got, Bobby?
All right, there it goes. It just, when you came on and it fixed it. So whatever was going on, I'm going to just trust that it's going to work. So there we go. And you can see that, yes, Jeff?
Yep, we have it.
All right, that's good. Thank you, sir. All right, so This is from Jensen's book, his big book, and I'm just show you as we go through this, you might notice periodically how long people have been studying the eyes. And again, my focus here, and I thank you, Dr. Bernard Jensen, is to show you how long and from all this different angle, how many people have been involved in the study of the iris of the eye, especially. That's what most of this is about. And for me, having done this for over 40 years, 46 years, whatever it is, when I discovered that what we're seeing in the eye is a state of consciousness, not a state of right or a state of wrong. What we're seeing is what the glorious being of light, an eternal being of light, has picked to master or to gain strength on. And reading it that way, it's phenomenal for me. I mean, it makes it, then I don't look at somebody's eye going, oh, you have something wrong. No, that's actually, our greatest weakness should be our greatest strength. That's actually a strength waiting to happen. And I can help that person do that. And so can you. I mean, that's the point, is that everything I'm sharing with you it's systematized now. The truth is always true. I mean, that's just the way it works. And so to imagine on our planet, individuals being able, even if they're not reading eyes professionally, if you were able to look in someone's eyes and know exactly what that person is asking for, with the type of love or the type of communication, the type of partnership, or the type of nutritional support, or the type of lifestyle change, or just the type of the loving an individual right where they are. I mean, how cool to be able to, and I can do this, and so can you. These are, and by the way, these are examples of different eye charts that are, I mean, as you can see, this is over many, many, many years of Jensen going out and finding all these beautiful charts and putting them into one book, which I'm so grateful for. And I have my own chart, which I use, which adds the thought, word, and emotional patterns to it. What I can share with you is the minute we change deeply enough our thought form or pattern, our word and our feeling pattern, the iris will change, period. If the eye doesn't change, we didn't change the pattern. So it's not a matter of fixing what's wrong. It's about restoring light and the embodiment of love in some very specific form and function. There's one of Jensen's early charts, 1977. This is my particular chart. And then from here, I'm going to build a little bit more context. So in other words, within the eye, there's different zones. They all mean something. There's different quadrants in the eye. There's different fibrils in the eye. All of these, I can translate it to the esophagus. But what I've done is translate the esophagus into expression or communication. Thyroid into will, authority, authorship. Thymus into courage or faith or trust. Heart into love. Kidney into partnership. Ovary into creativity. Spleen into I can and the lymphatic movement, pancreas into joy, solar plexus into, again, joy and power, support, spine, etc. And as Jensen shares in his book, these are slides that I used way back in the 70s when I taught this, that he showed us that there's these different fibrils in the eye, and the eye is actually brain tissue. And then there's blood vessels underneath here. And all of these, you can learn all about the many, many, many markings in the eye. There are different, in Jensen systems, there's 4 different systems there's normal fiber, bright white, and then different levels of what I'm going to say is reaction or suppression. And something, if it pops up, that turns into an acute stage or painful stage in my system, which I'll show you in a minute. That would be a hyper or compulsive stage. There's different genetic structure. In other words, this is what they call a stronger constitution. Let's say a broadband communication. The opposite, this is a very sparse communication system. But underneath here, and you'll see this in all of my befores and afters, this strong constitution is available in every single person. So there are many different things that we see shading. You have to be careful. This is what I'm bringing forth here. That what begins to happen is inside of every one of the fibrils, this is way back 40 some years ago, what we learned in science was inside of every one of the fibrils we see in the eye is another series of fibrils. And then they found out with the electron microscope that there's something like 10,000 fibrils inside of every one of these. So maybe, and I believe it's true, every hair on our head is represented in our eye. So the nervous system shows up in the eye. And there's the, right eye, left brain, left eye, right brain, that shows up. The autonomic nerve wreath there's the central nervous system, stomach lining, the autonomic nervous system, also the large and small intestine. The fibrils move through the body or not, just depending on, the body's function. Yes, but it's really, if you can add to that, it's consciousness. The word becomes flesh. So, and then the endocrine glands and is a direct relationship to the emotions. They all show up in the eye. The reproductive system all shows up in the eye. Structural system, from neck, shoulder, temple, forehead, etc., all shows up in the eye. The lymphatic system shows up in the eye. It's so important to understand lymph and I can. I mean, all of you right now, if you will just start, I can, God in me can, whatever, will move your lymph. It's an amazing thing. Respiratory system, the system of inspiration, circulatory system, it all shows up in the eye. But I don't use it as, hey, you say I have something wrong. I use the eye as a way to help us become aware of, like digestive system is about acceptance, utilization, and elimination of our experience of life besides food. The colon is all about feeling. This is the colon, so to speak, the large intestine on the right eye. This would be that which shows up on the left eye. It has a direct relationship to the body aspect, and yet feeling is what our colon is about. So what I'm sharing with you right now is a way to understand that when I read the eyes, and I'm just really exploring with my world right now, and you're the ones on this call, and I'm buzzing through these so I can get to a couple more. The what's important to me to understand is the eye actually holds the map of what we have yet to be aware of, and maybe what we have yet to interact with. Now, this is some of the chart that my daughter made for me. So there's different zones in the eye. Zone 1, zone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is lymph, 7 is skin. So stomach, digestive, organs and glands, interaction of bones and muscles, lymph, skin. And so all of these, if you could see it as a system of feeling, then it would be easy to look in someone or your own eye or someone else and help them understand where they are and what to do in consciousness to shift. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate tonight. So again, these different aspects are all us. We don't have to work with one part of the body. The whole idea is to work with our whole being, and yet to understand how important our whole like support is, how our I can is, how our lymph system. Our skin is all about feeling our world. So the iris of the eye, the colored part of the eye, is the map of our other than conscious self or our subconscious, our feeling world. Anything in the eye that's outside of that is the map of our outer world. So the iris shows how we feel. The sclera, the white of the eye, shows what we've outpictured or interacted with our world. So, and then there are all these beautiful, if you choose to study a map of consciousness, the iris of the eye is something you could just sit and contemplate. And there are these reflexes like the thigh, knee, foot to animation life. There's all these different reflexes that weren't available to me. Like anybody that gets a hernia, it's usually based on ego pressure. I mean, it's such an amazing tool. I have built most of my sacred body language translation, let's say, as a blueprint. What was hidden before, even in meridian study and all the other stuff, shows up perfectly in the eye. So again, this is just a beautiful thing to contemplate all these different reflexes. And I'm showing right now the 180 reflex, like nose and spleen. And anybody that works in sacred body language transmit, you know that somebody's touching their left side of the nose, this left eye, would be they're going, I can, or they're touching the right side of the nose, it's I will. And so once you get that, and we translate it, you'll see the accuracy of the system. All right. So again, I'm buzzing through this to get to some befores and afters and hear from our team. And this is another thing I'm going to share is in this system, we use 7 levels of consciousness. And in between, let's say the darker level of unconsciousness, the individual, and this is what people are going to talk about, they're going to go from unconsciousness, apathy, grief, fear, anger, pain, enthusiasm to this next octave of, let's say, apathy. And then and this would be a very, very, very dark eye. And then it'll go to very dark gray and then dark gray and then gray all the way up until this is bright white and this is white fiber. So individuals and the scale of emotional harmonics, the eye actually shows exactly where we are. All right. So I'm going to go show you a little bit more about, I want to close that one for now. I'm going to show you a little bit more about some befores and afters just to keep to my time frame. And this is a PowerPoint I created many moons ago just to show some befores and afters. And as I go through this, you're going to be, if you just notice the date, and this is some folks that got prepared with me and did a class and then did body electronics. This is the before. Just notice the fiber structure. This would be the skin. This is the assimilation ring. This is large and small intestine. This is organs and glands. This is bones and muscles. This is lymph. Again, skin. This is the outer world. What, maybe there's stress about authority, authorship, thyroid. And again, you can go watch a whole bunch of this stuff online. So this is your before. Now just watch the fibers after. Again, this is in just a few months' time. This is an amazing shift of that individual's consciousness. Straighter fiber, smaller people, which means they have the ability to respond versus react or feel overwhelmed. The white of the eye begins to pull off, revealing, in other words, they're starting to set codependence, co-empowerment. They set their healthy boundaries. Here's another before. Again, 6/27/08. After, much straighter, clear fibers. Next eye. Before. After, notice straighter, denser. This is changing that person's experience of life, their ability to shine, the integrity of the tissues. In other words, if you look at these as a broadband communicator, I'll show you there's a before. This is right eye. Take a look at the amount of stress this individual was shot by an intruder, and it was a really big traumatic experience for that person. And then look, this is 4/4/08, and then basically 4 months later, after. Look how much straighter the fiber, how much more transformation of the stress of the outer world, much, much less. Before, after. Notice smaller people, straighter fiber. They're changing their world. Before, after. Here's some more. And I'm just giving you a sense, and then we're going to have a conversation with our team. There's before. And again, this is beautiful. This is consciousness, everyone. This is, it's just, for me, when I look in an eye, I'm awed. I'm still completely awed. This is beautiful. Now imagine going from 6/27/08, if this is DNA now, if this is, that person's energy signature, and if it's wavy, it's a little hyper. If this is like, if it's dark along here, the environment's not safe for me. This is, I can't. Lymphatic congestion. Orange is confusion. So again, this is in a month and plus, a month plus. Before, after. It's as if the fibers have doubled, straighter, clear, much, much clearer. Right eye before. Take a look now. After. I mean, if I were searching for slides, I wouldn't even necessarily look for this to be the partner of that eye. Next one, before, sodium ring is resentment or the need to protect from stress in the environment. Every fibril is translatable to consciousness. This is 7/2/08. This is before, after. Now notice this is dissolving out. That resentment is meeting forgiveness, but the straight, dense fiber, that means that individual's energetic integrity is coming online. Their circulation is coming online. Their ability to express themselves into their world is coming on. Right eye before, after. Now this is again in a very short period of time. And again, I encourage everybody, do body electronics. It's the fastest way to get this quantum leap. I'm going to go a little slower. I understand I've got a little bit of delay, so I'm going to see if I can match that. So this is before. That's our before photo, 7/2/08. After. And for me, anybody that's been in the field, to be able to see this in basically a month plus, it gives the individual massive encouragement to keep on trucking. And I'll show you a little bit about this. This is a thought form, but notice it's opening up. It's no longer a belief system. It's now just a tendency. I'll show you before. This is the right eye, same person. After, notice this life force is coming in to change the pattern. And if we keep progressing, and that's what I'll do with my live team, what begins to happen is the individual returns to I am that I am. Before, this is a very good friend of mine, is internationally known as a musician. He said he wept most of his childhood. He didn't tell anybody that until I read his eyes. This is before. After, notice pupils smaller, and again, just he has integrity. He now is not overwhelmed. He has, he's an energy system unto himself. He's a sovereign being, or beginning to be. Before, after, much stronger. Next eye, before, and this is just to give you a sense, and then I've got some that are picked out with folks who are going to share. After, look at how much straighter, clearer the fibers are. In fact, even the way it rotates. Before, just take a look. After, when the eye rotates like that, usually that person is going from a codependent, trying to prove to others, where the eye sets straight, where they set straight into who they are. And again, I would be with somebody about that, and it's, it could be their way their eye's positioned in the camera, usually not. Before, after, before. Now, this is pretty hyper and wavy. Gotta, have to, must, gotta, have to, need to. Orange is confusion. After, again, straightening, doubling the fibers almost, doubling their strength, doubling their ability to communicate and radiate. Before, after. Look at that. Look, it's a flower. It's a sun. It's really, I call it a sun presence, because that's what it is. Before, after. Before, after. I mean, that is heaven for me. That I know the individual is coming into who they are. They're activating their full potential. And everyone can do this. Before, after. And by the way, this person's eyes had black-brown eyes when I met them when they were 21 years old in Florida. And this is now, at this point, they were probably 38. So they went from a black-brown eye to, now you can see the hazel green and blue. We didn't have photos back then of this camera, so that's why I'm not comparing it. This next one, before, after. Again, the sclera begins to pull off. They start to set their healthy boundaries. Before, after. Again, beautiful. Before, after. Before, after. And you can see the fibers just filling in. And again, if you could look at that as consciousness, how much more of them is alive here. It's amazing. All right. So I got one more, I believe. Before, after. I'm doing it fairly quick so I can get to my team, what I'm so grateful for. All right, here we go. Now, my request is we see perfection. We honor who's ever coming on. Mark's going to be first. And Mark is, he's changed his life like I changed mine by doing all this stuff. And I'm going to let Mark, if you can come on with me.
Hey, Bob.
Oh, good. You're great. 1 second. Here we go. So, Mark, when you first started, and the photo I have is 11/23/09. Is this your first? Do you remember?
Yes, that's correct. I started in 2009, November or December of 2009.
Yeah, and we're on November. Perfect. So when you first started, and again, what you're looking at is strong constitution, genetically strong. Your eye at that point was showing emotionally some block of I can't and it's hard. So most likely you had some struggle going on at that point relative to Again, this is retreating from the outer world. So did you have some struggle
Sure.
going on in your life at that point?
Yeah, I had struggle going on with my life since I was a kid to that point, and it had gotten bigger and bigger, and I tried to cope with it in a number of different ways, but it was like I was trying to work with it or fix it, and I hated it, and it wasn't working well at all.
Okay.
And I studied a lot of different modalities, and I intellectually knew things, but for some reason, the embodiment process, or me actually having a lasting change inside of me, wasn't occurring.
Cool. All right. Well, what I'm going to do, I only picked one one before and after. You've been in this for a while, so you've seen massive changes. And so I'm going to show, here's my outcome. My outcome is, like when I can show befores and afters, and I'm speaking to Mark, but I'm also speaking to everyone. I can show you the befores and afters, but this is not just an intellectual, factual, whatever. This is life. This is somebody's, this is some of the most intimate stuff that I know of on the planet. Maybe it's the most because it's our eyes. And literally, if it involves thought patterns, our word patterns, our feeling patterns, and our lineage, our genetics, left eye is mom, right eye is dad, or what we picked up from them. And when a shift occurs from where a person was, literally shifts happen that, in my view, the possibility of these changes didn't exist in my world before I started doing this. And now I realize that perfection is guaranteed. It's the tractor beam of our creator, whatever name you give that thing. And what I love miracles. I love when miracles happen. I love when anybody else does miracles. I love, that's what I love. And I know, Mark, you do too. So I'm going to show another, there's the before. And again, this is 11/23/09. The next photo is going to be 3/11/10. So just a few months later, after. I'm going to go back and forth just for a minute. So I'm going to go back one before whenever this is called a scurf rim. It sounds like something on a bathtub, but this means a person has retreated into the state of I can't. It's not safe in the world. So that's your before, after. Now I'll just have everyone notice. I might go quadrant. See all the straight, dense fibers just right in this quadrant right there. I'm going to go back one. You can see that there are fibers there, but the retreat is the hold back. Not wrong, just holding back. Not safe, not secure. Genetically strong, but also holding back. And look at in essence, it's not safe out there in the world. It's not safe. So that's before, after. And again, what's happening is your fibers are coming out. You're setting a strong, healthy boundary. And look at these fibers. I'll go back one again. Before, after. So in this, what began to happen in these months shift for you, Mark?
I began to trust that I could do what I really love to do and start to live my own life rather than a reactionary life based on what my parents thought or didn't think, or just start to be able to live my own life. The other thing was I had a really bad speech impediment when I was a child and stuttered also. And when I first started doing classes with you, that was still up quite a bit. So as I started to do this, that shifted, almost in one class. It really changed a lot just in one class.
So talk to me about what it takes to make this shift.
After our first session, one of the things that we did, I jumped into the nutritional side, and I was doing nutrition. I lifted a lot of weight, so I was eating for what I thought was strength, and but I was eating sugar and I was eating some other stuff. And when you first started doing the class, you had me do some nutritional stuff, and just getting on the nutritional prep made a huge, huge difference with me. I had we did a Candida cleanse, which was doubt. Had a lot of doubt going on, self-doubt, and my self-confidence was down. And getting on the Candida cleanse and doing minerals really, really started to help a lot. I had a lot of stress going on. I had a lot of pain in my life. I was taking pills to sleep at night. I'd taken allergy medicine for 30-something years. And my allergies healed, in the first class that we did. And then as I started to do the other nutritional stuff, one of the big things I noticed was my voice that was putting out like, no, you can't, and you're not good enough. Like all those voices started to diminish. Like they were losing power, and my confidence was coming up.
And I'm going to ask Mark. Let me jump in for a second. So for me, I hear you, and I know that you've been through this. Tell me, how deep did you have to dig? I mean, the tools work. Conscious language, make a new choice, decrees, prayer. But let's talk really about what did it take to make this shift. Besides nutrition, it works. All it works, but you had to work it. Yes or no?
Yes, I did. And for me, once I started taking the initial steps, it kept getting easier and easier, because if I would try to go back, I would notice the pain of going back. So it wasn't that hard to keep going, because going back was really effing painful, man. So it becomes self-motivating and self-generating to keep going forward with this. And it's just a level of commitment. I know I took a little side trip on one thing, and I called you and said, hey, man, I did some stuff that I probably shouldn't have done. You go, hey, do a fast. And I remember I did a 14-day fast, which was the longest I'd ever gone without eating. And it was really powerful for me to face all those voices and just keep my word to myself at that level. And then things just it just keeps getting easier and more fun.
No, I love it. Okay, cool. And I'm showing everybody, this is your right eye before, and this is stress. This is a lot of stress, and the perception that the world doesn't accept Mark at that point. And here's his after. And again, this is a few months. Obviously, I mean, that when it clears out like that, the individual has taken their attention away from that which seems so stressful and has come inside and begun. I really believe we become a sun presence. It's quite amazing to me. So
yeah, I was really compulsive about trying to force stuff, and it was really trying to work at it and make things happen, and a lot of struggle going on. And then as all this started to come on, there's just more and more ease, especially in my career. Big changes.
Awesome.
Big changes.
Awesome. All right, my friend. Thank you for and again, vote is victory, because this and it's how much more could you teach this yourself? I know that. And since 2010, have you just kept trucking?
Yeah, and especially even in the last couple of months, I mean, huge changes. If you take a picture of my eye, probably 3 months ago and now, way different. I can tell the difference in me. And this may sound kind of weird, but when I used to listen to my recording, my voice on my voicemail, I could, I was like, I hate my voice, and now when I hear my voice on my voice recording, I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good. But when I could go back and listen to my old voice, I could hear the fear and the doubt that was present in my voice. And now I hear it, my voice is fuller, I'm more in my body, and I mean, just things like that were really big for me too. When we go back and compare all that, awesome. Huge, yeah, super fun.
Welcome home. It's a boy.
Yeah, it's awesome. A big baby bouncing boy.
All right, thank you, Mark. Beautiful.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right, now I'm going to close that. I don't know what it's doing, but let's bring up Dr. Charnel.
Hey, are you there?
I am here, and I am going to rock this. I'm going to build a little preface for you, Charnel, if I may. All right, yes. So Charnel, I'm just going to give you've been with us a few months, basically, and have yet to do body electronics, which I believe Mark had a chance to do that kind of stuff. And if you can just share from when you're first meeting with me, which is at the Highest Potential Academy, put on by Vaughn Harding, and from where we are now, it's again a few months from these photos, 8/23/15 to 12/6/15. That's what we currently have for photos. just what began to happen as you touched into conscious language, etc. And then I'm going to show your eye, the shift in your eyes, and what's happening for you.
So, gosh, there's so many different things that have changed. And what the coolest thing for me is, I guess I kind of thought I was doing okay. But then what the system's done for me is it allows you to see a response to prayers that haven't even necessarily been made, because you could see, like, all these blind spots come open and you get results, and then you're like, wow, I didn't even know that was a blind spot. But just specifically for me, I think just plugging into conscious language and being aware of not only what I'm thinking, but what I'm saying, but what I'm thinking and what's in my heart. Because I have a lot of, in the past especially, had a lot of really negative internal dialogue, and I see that that's shifted a lot, and it's taken a conscious effort to do it, but it's easier and easier now. And as that happens, and as I'm journaling and doing some of the tools like Awaken Activation and some of the classes that we've taken, I've taken like 5 classes with you now, the biggest, hugest difference is my relationship with God first, my relationship with my husband, my kids, my team, but some of the things that kind of were a response to that without really knowing is I started being attracted to wanting to buy colorful things, and I didn't really necessarily think that I had a problem with that, but when I looked into my closet, I realized I had a whole lot of black and gray, and pretty much black and gray, and I started wanting to wear like light blue and pinks and things, and it was just like really not normal for me at all. I eat pretty well in the first place, but because I've been off of sugar for over a year, but I still craved it, and my game on my food went up completely different too, another notch of just wanting, like, conscious eating, really, of just being aware of what I'm putting in my mouth. But not only that, I came home just by doing the tools. I think I've made 3 or 4 trips to Goodwill and other Salvation Army type places now, with I think 23 to, I don't, just cleaning, like this energy to clean and get things more organized, and just an energy that I didn't have before. Like, I go to bed on a regular time and I wake up at a regular time, where before I had a lot of trouble sleeping. I had always had trouble sleeping since little. I'd be at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and want to sleep, and then have a really hard time getting up in the morning. But my weight has shifted. I think I've lost like 15, 20 pounds since August. What I listen to music-wise, what I spend my time and energy in, I'm watching way less TV. And again, these aren't things that I'm like, well, I think I need to stop watching TV, or I need to stop watching this type of TV. It's just like I didn't have any interest in so many things that I felt like I had interest in before, and now it just seems like a waste. Like, I'm so much more conscious of even my time, of like what I'm going to do, who I'm going to spend time with, what I'm going to do if I'm going to watch TV. Is this going to be something that's positive or not? And it's like,
Hey,
I don't know.
Charnel,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
going to make sure that everybody understands. I want to go to your most current photo that I have, which is going to be 12/6/15, to show what all this looks like in the eye. And
Yes.
I'm going to go back one just for a second. That darker is not
Okay.
wrong, brown, that's not the point. But what's happening is light is returning. And if everybody can take a look, you most likely thought you had a brown eye, yes?
Yes.
And you know that now that underneath there is blue. And so
Yeah.
what you're describing, what you're seeing, everyone, is not a better or more right, but just literally light returning in someone's life. And you're hearing the description of it. And has it been easy, Charnel?
No. Well, some things have been extremely easy. Some things have not been easy at all. Matter of fact, I have to say to myself, this is fun and easy, and like program myself to step into that. But yeah, some things are a lot very, very easy and not even trying, and other things are a lot more difficult.
Yep, and
But it's
I'm going to
possible.
share. I'm going to share that the idea is we begin to like keep on. The reason one of the things I love about this is, and Dr. Charnel's doing this already with her folks. One of the ways to help ourselves is go help other people. So as you know, we live in a world of homeostasis until we realize that a transformation is available. Once a transformation starts, that what we've gone through so far isn't anything compared to what's coming. So the more momentum we can get up, the better. So have you noticed you're gaining momentum and your victories are bigger?
Yes, as well as everyone that touches me, everyone that in my existence.
I'm going to show you right eye, same thing. This is her before. And again, normal brown eye, the stress rings, that internal dialogue is what that part, that's just negative self-talk. Here's her after. And what you're seeing is they're opening up her whole life. And again, I'm most likely that's been 2 months now, basically. I'm sure as soon as you get pictures again, they're going to be different. And uh, um, uh, let's just say it this way. I'll ask it this way. Did you know this level of transformation was available with all the work as a naturopath or whatever else you are that you've done? Did you understand this speed of transformation was available?
Never ever have I have studied and went through so many different things, not only through the process of my getting my degree, but just because I'm an eternal student and I just love learning. So I've tried everything, and this has been the only thing that's been so fast and easy.
Beautiful. All right, my dear. Thank you. Time-wise, I'm going to go on, and everyone, it's real. So thank you, dear. Thank you. We're going to work with someone else. This is Charnel's husband, David, and I'm going to get him up here. All right, David, you on?
I'm here.
Ah, good. So this is David's eye, and David, you have your version of this. I'm going to do the befores and afters now. So because I sat there the whole time going, oh, I'd like to break in and show the after, because really that's the point. So, and then I'll come back to you, David. Here's David's before, and again, same dates, 8/23/15, and then here's the after. I'm going to go back and forth to show a little bit of this. So before. And again, already, the light is coming in. You're already doing work, that kind of stuff. This is orange's confusion is called sulfur, but notice it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. If you take a look, his iris is way out here actually, and most likely up here. And yet, when it covers over, it's called codependence. So you can watch this area, and then we'll do it by quadrant. There's before, after. I'm going to go back one. Before. Let's look right here. And notice that the darker the fiber, it just means the more hypo. So before, after. And what you're seeing is that actually the sclera pulling off, setting a healthy boundary. Much, much lighter. I'll go before, after. I mean, just take a look at how much lighter that is. And so, David, talk to me about what has been happening for you.
Just looking at these pictures almost bring me to tears. But a lot of stuff. For beginning, touching on, for me, I choose to say that coming into this, I was just really just coming in with kind of like an open heart, because I really didn't understand it at all, and I didn't know anything about it or anything. So just like a lot of other people probably, and getting into it and seeing and actually following the program and praying and doing the decrees and journaling, which at the beginning I never journaled. I didn't like journaling. I mean, I'm getting, and it's the same like what Dr. Charnel said is about, my heart is beginning to not be attracted to things lesser energy, and like things that I was attracted to, like before, it could have been like conversation or joking around or different things. Just I can see different things in conversations with friends, and the way I posture myself, and the where I go and stuff like that. I can see that shifting. Also, my relationship with my wife has been astronomical in difference, before and after. And I was like, I know that I didn't know this at first, but after going through all this and waking up and becoming more conscious is making me aware that I was addicted to things like chaos, which I didn't even think chaos was an addiction. But I would notice that, and I never wasn't noticed aware to it, but after I got into your life, and then your light and everything, and God and everything started really opening my heart up, and I feel my feelings are more present, and now I feel more, and I cry more and stuff like that, which I never did in the past. I mean, in the past I kind of shut that down because from childhood. And anyway, I'm feeling, I'm staying. I touch the situation with love, and any situation that I'm in, and God transforms it. God has transformed me, and as you can see with my pictures, even I can see like the different pupil sizes. The pupils gotten smaller. I mean,
Yep, here's before and after. And I'm going to jump in while you're talking about that. If everybody can see that fibers that are starting to show up, in essence, the divine blueprint or the divine order is starting to show up from a point of covered over and way more chaotic and overwhelmed. It's like adrenal exhaustion. That's what they call it, where the bright light, and this is not extreme, but it's bigger, overwhelmed by stress. And then look at the after, much stronger ability to respond to this bright light, and much straighter fiber and much more light coming in. You're just like, for me, I see through all that to these beautiful blue, strong, dense fibers of the real you shining through. So it's so much easier to, I mean, especially like I see it right away because I get it. I always have seen who people are first. Now you can see it. Yes, David?
Yes, I do, and I encourage everybody to see themselves because we're all one.
That's well said, my friend. All right, time wise, thank you, and thanks for doing the work. And I'm excited to see your next photos, by the way, both of you.
Me too, man.
Yep. All right, now let's go to Adam. And
hello.
Oh, you wacko. All right, that's Adam, but
hello.
He's doing hormone therapy. So no, just kidding. All right, here we go. All right, Adam. If you'll share. This is 6/18/13. That's probably when you started tour, right? Way back, ish.
Yes, we were in the Bay Area by that time, and that's when I started. I was super overwhelmed. Didn't know what the heck I was really getting myself into, and even when I went on tour with you, I had made a call. I mean, I'll give a little history before that. So even when I first met you and took one of your intros to Sacred Body Language Translations in Conscious Language in North Carolina is where I met you in downtown Asheville. And I remember after that class, like, I rarely spoke for the next month because I was always like, wait a sec. And I was just like, I can't say that stuff anymore because it resonated so deeply with me that my words were exactly why I was where I was at in my life. And so that began, for me, my trajectory. And then a few months after I had met you in North Carolina, I moved back to Utah to be closer to my daughter. And I was just at a point in my life that really I was seeking my spiritual aspect of life. And, I said a little prayer, went to the computer to go search for jobs, something new that would inspire me, something, I thought I could really do and be good at. And an email came in from Mastery Systems saying, hiring for tour manager. And I told myself after I'd met you originally that if I ever had an opportunity to work with this guy, I would. And anyway, that's where we're at. We're in the Bay Area at this photo in the San Francisco area.
Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna progress a little bit, and again, we will probably, you might be able to remember exact times. I don't, but anyway, from 6/18/13 to 5, so it's almost a year. 5/2/14. I'm going to show the before and after on that. And I'm going to go back. This is before and after, and there's some change, yes. But really, what's really important is right. And if you can, because this is huge, I'm going to show the progression of where we started. The sclera pulls up over. It's a little hyper, a little wavy, a little large pupil, quite a bit of pain and compulsion, a little confusion, some environmental stress. But this is the energy signature this is what Adam knows. This is the fact of his world. And here's the next one. And it's, things are changing. It's a little clear, that kind of stuff. And then, boom. What happened?
So this one is after body electronics, and what really happened for me is something I hadn't yet fully forgiven myself, even though I thought I had, and I worked on it for many, many years. And really, I just began to fully embody everything that I had done. Meaning before it was an idea, a possibility, wasn't quite sure if this really worked, didn't know if I really had the power to change. Even though I'd seen miracle upon miracle being on tour with you, I've seen many people upgrade, because I got the opportunity after people will do a eye reading session with you and come out, and I do their hugs program and stuff too, and I got to see people walking out brand new all the time. And I'd yet to give that to myself until this body electronics in October of 2014. And I really fully embodied, and there was also a scenario where it was so huge and I didn't think I could handle it or anyone would love me enough to stay, and you and I connected, and you were right in my face, and we had a magical experience together where we were seeing eye to eye, God to God, and that's exactly what I required. I really needed that at that time in my life, and you were my steward, my champion in that moment.
Yeah, man. Woo. And I'm going to say this. That's why I'm teaching this, everybody. That's why I'm sharing it. It's the material. Like Adam, what he's describing. And I go back and forward. Just that's not wrong. That's a beautiful eye. Adam, beautiful soul. This is an activated human being. This is somebody that basically faced their biggest whatever it was, and I didn't even know what it was. I just knew that I'd stay, and you stayed. And then this is the after photo. This means to me from. And again, if you don't see either one as wrong, just see them as an energy signature. This is pretty, here and there, and a lot of wavy. Look at the amount of wavy fiber there. And then to this is this radiant sun present. This is what's available in every version of what's available in every human being. And Adam, I know you know this, but I'm going to say it. Adam, what he gave himself in that experience in body electronics, and I believe we all give ourselves experience. So I might have been the one, but he gave it to himself. His God self gave it through me. And I know that's true. That's what he came to give the world. And so if anybody else has a reactive moment, Adam's going to be one of the first ones there saying, I'm right there with you. I'm staying. That's the point. And I'm going to go to the next one. And again, this is the strength. This is a few months or a year or whatever. Yeah, year plus year and 2 months afterward. And again, what this means is this is the standard lifestyle, a brand new person from this to this to this to this. And again, the pupil size is just the focal point on the camera. But I'm going to show you right eye. That's the first one, second one. And then this amazing thing here. And this is, so if the iris of the eye, and iris is the body, and the map of the subconscious, both, that's accurate. And anything we suppress on the inner, we get to deal with in the outer. If everybody can imagine how much of Adam's world about communication, authority, thyroid, spine, support issues came up, partnership, kidneys, that ego pressure right up to what he's here for is to help his world. This is called a sora or a miasm, and it means Adam is here to help many people feel fully supported. That's what he's here for. So again, look at the transformation, and this is in essence your whole world. No injury happened, yes?
No, it was just someone else in class noticed it and stuff too. So after we did a recess, I went and looked, and I was like, "Holy you know what I would said." But so it was. I didn't even feel anything, you didn't feel any different. And someone else pointed it out to me. So yeah, no physical pain.
So in essence, what this means in the system is, have you realized your importance to your world?
Yes.
And how important are you to your world?
I am very important.
Yeah. And were you taught that this is the masculine side of life? Did the masculine side of life, no judgment to anyone, did the masculine side of life teach you who you are?
No.
No. And do you now know who you are?
Yes, to the degree I do currently. And it's a constant unlayering. I go back to the Shrek movie, ogres are like onions. I'm like an onion. There's layers.
Yep.
So I know that I have more to do, more to be. And currently, yes, I know who I am. And I also know that I have upgrades that continue to happen as I continue to do my work.
Beautiful. And again, our greatest weakness should be our greatest strength. So in this particular situation, if Adam didn't get everything he needed, so to speak, or wanted from the paternal side of life, that he's going to incubate and find his divine version of that and, step forward in a brand new way. So that's the point, is that this whole system shows, it's like it tells us where we are and what it turns into. Like if somebody's in fear, it's actually faith returning. If somebody hasn't felt fully supported, they're here to be massively supported, because this goes right along to authority, authorship, creativity, and feeling fully supported and fully supporting your world. And so that the beauty of this particular system is it puts look, Scripture says it this way. It's not religion. It just says if you have the name of a thing, you have power over the thing. If you have the name of a thing, you have power over the thing. And so what the I for me does, and I'm able to share, and so can you, so please, become masterful at this, everyone, is we can name exactly what's acting and find exactly what it turns into. And again, what I love is, especially body electronics, how important was that body electronics experience?
It was huge. Like I said, everything before that was a possibility, and I'd even done a body electronics before that, and there was still a lot of questions I had. And as leading up to that body electronics, I began to embody and stuff too, but something happens when we, because we were there at body electronics, but when I have that much support, that much love in one room, that many people voting my victory, it gave myself permission to really fully embody my experience and forgive myself and love myself enough that I was able to shine and be who I came to be.
Yeah. Well said, my friend. Well said. Well, beautiful. Thank you, Adam. All of these are like bigger than these words that I have to say. So that's the story, and it's true. All right. So to each of you who are on tonight and those that have shared, I thank you for being on. I want to turn this over to Jeffrey. We are going, I leave tomorrow, or day after tomorrow, to go to LA. And then from LA, we're going to Sacramento with our team to do an all for you. We're going to be at the LA Expo, the Conscious Life Expo, which I think is amazing because I have a Conscious Life series, so I love the name. And then we're coming back through Midland, and then we're going to be in Waller, and Jeff can share the dates on that, for a Bio-Optic holography immersion. And what I've designed is a way to train yourself at home to be ready for this level of experience. It's the first time I ever taught it, and it's a great team that are coming together for this training, and you can come, you can be there, and you have enough time to study the material, because we've got, you can be masterful in a week. Truly, that's how clearly I put this together. This is more just an example of what's available and listening to individuals' experiences, so you can, so your heart can hear what this is really about, not just seeing pictures and stuff or reading a promotional thing. This is way bigger than all that. This is, this is the fire of spirit calling, and your heart's the only one that really knows your yes or whatever you get on this thing. So please know, when we're in Waller, which is near Houston, Texas, you can jump in and prepare yourself on a very systematic step-by-step way with 11 DVDs on Bio-Optic holography, and then a whole Bio-Optic holography facilitator training on video before you come. And we have a whole package that prepares you for the All For You material, which is really where it all starts before you do anything else. And when you get there, you will be your files will be open, and you'll have links to your experience. Most likely, you will have already been reading eyes and helping people and having a bunch of miracles before you even come for this immersion, where you really, really, really understand in the immersion how to use a camera, how to set it up, how to do sessions, how to make your support and service to your planet, your profession, whatever you call it, so masterful that everywhere you go, you see perfection. You literally see through the illusion to that which is coming forward in somebody, and just help it along all the way into that person's victorious life. You do the same for yourself. So again, please come play. I'm honored to be on with you, each of you. And I really look forward to being with you in my heart. I'm just connecting with my heart to your heart right now. If you get a yes, come play. And any way I can support you, we're here. Our whole team is here to help you in any way, shape, or form. And we've really designed this to be the simplest footprint, with a very, very simple 6 days of coming together to master the embodiment process of the rest of the skill set that you will have even before you get there. So each of you that have shared, thank you. All of you honored tonight, and those that watch this, are 400 and some folks that, whatever it was, that have signed up for this thing. I love you all, and I really mean that. And I love when each of us step through the veil into who we are. That's what I love. I'm addicted to love, in that, in a good way. So Jeff, thank you, my friend. I'm turning it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Bobby. And you can hear me okay, yes?
Yes, I can.
Beautiful. And just to confirm the numbers, we had 529 register for tonight. And wow, so that was a huge, huge, huge turnout. So the training that Bob just spoke of, the Bio-Optic Holography Facilitator Training Immersion, is really the next level, or the next echelon of training when it comes to Bio-Optic Holography. The package that we've designed includes online training, pre-training, before coming to the live event, which is in Walker, Texas, March 7th.
Waller, Texas.
Excuse me, Waller, Texas. Thank you, yes. Which is in Waller. They're so similar. Which is in Waller, Texas, March 7th through March 12th. So those are the dates of the live event. Now, when, say you did choose to register tonight, we have a link, actually, I'm going to drop into the chat box here. And for those of you who are just on audio, the link is masterysystems.com/BOH. And if you choose to go to that page, that is the page I'm looking at that has the details for the live event, and also outlines the complete instruction package and all of the online access that you receive instantly upon registration. The beauty of this is you have a month before the live training. So the first time we had the pre-training before the Bio-Optic live event, I believe it was 2 years ago, and Bob can confirm this as well. When we had people go through a lot of the material beforehand, they came prepared. They were there ready to play, and they had so much experience visually already of a system that's pretty intricate, but you can get started with very minimal knowledge and just beginning to ask questions in a way that creates security, in a way that's inquisitive, in a way that really has the best interest of everyone involved. So the link, if you see it there in the chat box, again, it's masterysystems.com/BOH. And when you register, again, you receive instant online access to the Bio-Optic Holography Facilitator Training video course, which is 22 50-ish minute video sessions. It's approximately 18 hours of training. This is in our online store every day, all day, the facilitator training for $2,222. That comes with the live event. Now, the live event, including the complete instruction package, and this also includes food and lodging for your time in Waller, Texas during those event dates. The complete package is $3,999. And what this is, it's a complete A to Z package, as Bob mentioned, using the camera, getting the ins and outs excuse me, of the session, understanding how this works. And the beauty of this is you can go home and start using this right away. You don't require an expensive camera to get started. still to this day, when I do sessions, and if Bob is on tour with a Bio-Optic holography camera, I use a flashlight, a mag light, and a loop. So there are many ways to get into the conversation of Bio-Optic holography using, not having to get super fancy with any tools, and just getting in the door right away, practicing, seeing results, and really absolutely helping people to the highest order. It's a huge service. We also realized too that there was over 500 people registered for tonight's webinar. We are going to include a replay that's going to go out tomorrow, but we'd also like to extend a gift. So what Bob and I were talking about as we were getting onto the webinar is giving a huge value for those of you who jump into the conversation and get yourselves registered. It's going to be about 24 hours after the recording goes out. So you have access to it now, and it'll be live in the email. But anyone who registers within that 24-hour window of about 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, the specific details will be in the email, through the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, the 11th, will also receive with their registration the All For You complete instruction package, which includes the All For You complete instruction kit that's shipped to you right in the mail, as well as the instant online access. Now this is twofold, really. This gives you the tools of All For You, of imagination activation, of just literally everything that gets you started in the foundational principles of Mastery Systems technologies. So it trains you, but it also gives Bob a huge leap forward in being able to meet you on a new level. Because having All For You under your belt, coming to Bio-Optic holography facilitator immersion in March, is an absolute huge benefit for everybody involved. It'll benefit you, it'll benefit Bob, and it will also benefit everybody in that class to just raise everything to the next level. So that package sells every day, all day in the Mastery store for $888. So when you register for Bio-Optic holography, again, that link is masterysystems.com/BOH, and it's also in the chat box. I'll drop it in there again. If you just click on that link, that will take you right to the page. In the chat box, if you're yet to see it, is in the GoToWebinar control panel that has the controls for this webinar. There should be a little gray bar on the bottom that says chat. If you click the little arrow to all the way to the left, it'll drop down and you'll see the link right there in the window. So with the investment for the course, you'll also receive that All For You 888 package. The caveat to that is you won't see that in the literature anywhere, because it's something that, again, we're announcing that right now. It doesn't have that in writing, but you do have my voice on this recording. We're good for it. And as you register for the live immersion for Bio-Optic holography facilitator, you'll receive the online access for All For You, the complete instruction kit for All For You, as well as the complete instruction package for Bio-Optic holography facilitator training as well. If you have any questions on anything we went through tonight, you can send those to support@masterysystems.com. And again, the recording for this webinar is going to go out about 3 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon Eastern time, as we get everything tied up in the recording, the video edited and sent out. But if you have any questions, please, please, please let us know. And Bobby, before we wrap up for this evening, do you have anything else to add here?
Yep, I do, and thank you, Jeff. You're doing a great job.
You're welcome.
Just understand that the registration now for this, what we do is not only do we have the online version so you can start immediately, but you receive a box set. And what that means is you have the DVDs of the Bio-Optic, plus you have a way to install on your computer the video, so you don't have to go online to study it. It's on your computer. It's a one-to-one license just for you, and you can just drink the material. If you go, oh, I'd like to go over that again, you go over it again and again and again. That's what makes this stuff rich. In fact, if you just did the live course, you wouldn't have the capability of what you have by doing it this particular way. So just know what I did is I idealized it, going, yeah, the portal is great that you can go online and they're always there for you. But having it on my own computer, so I can just, when I'm ready, traveling, whatever, I can plug it in and drink the material until it becomes my own. That's what we've designed for you. So that's it.